Joanne in Minneapolis, listening on AM 950. Hey, Joanne, what's on your mind?
Hi, I just think you're doing some great connecting of dots here with this football. And what I was just going to offer up was, did you know that in 1906, for your history lesson, that Teddy Roosevelt came within an eyelash of banning the game of football because of its violence, and people were being killed and dying on the playing field. And he brought in folks from Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, who were the powers back then, who basically said, sort of regulate this, or I'm going to cut out the game of football. Still very much in its rugby roots. I'm giving you a good history lesson here.
Right.
And that almost became the formation of the NCAA, keeping in mind there was no pro football back then.
And was that when we got helmets and padding?
And right, and basically what it was, changed the game, changed the brute force nature of the game, to which they did. And in the 1920s, under the likes of, let's say, a Newt Rockne at Notre Dame, his whole idea was based on speed and deception and quickness, and he looked for the little guys versus the brute force guys.
Right, and strategy.
Yep, and so then, it's like if we could get back to the sort of the roots of the game, we've turned it into something it was never meant to be, which is what you were getting at with if we could offer different routes out. And football was never meant to be what we've turned it into. It was more always meant to be, building of greater mind, body, spirit type stuff in its roots. But TR actually was going to ban the game of football, and they basically brought the people together, and they said, we'll regulate ourselves and change the game. And over the course of time, it's gone back to obviously a much more brute force type.
I think a lot of that seemed to have started just from looking at it in my lifetime, probably around, was it the 80s that Refrigerator Perry was famous for being the biggest athlete ever? He was almost 300 pounds, and now he'd be a small guy.
Right, and it was just, again, it was supposed to not be just quite the sort of the brute force. And you can say other things, but the roots, and I'm just getting into what you were connecting dots with here, too. We've turned it into something it was never meant to be.
Fascinating stuff.
Go back to what it was once, it could be something else.
There you go. Joanne, thank you for the call. Thanks for the history lesson. That's fascinating. Teddy Roosevelt in football. To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.